rave reviews for their recent winter concert. 2 mini concerts at the Coco Carols event at Moose Haven, and a backup vocalist for the Celts Christmas show at Thrasher Horn. Today, they're delighted to share with you some of the music they shared with those audiences. The Greatest Season and I Feel Like Fa La 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 La, both by Teresa Jennings, and Shalom Havarim, which is a traditional Hebrew folk song that expresses well wishes and peace for farewells, arranged by Carol Hitzman. Ladies and gentlemen of the Clay County School Board, please enjoy the TBE chorus directed by music teacher Miss Jennifer Bassett. It's always so sad to see Christmas go, so that was actually enjoyable to hear from it post-Christmas as well. Thank you, Thunderbolt Elementary School scholars and Miss McQuinn, for sharing your incredible artwork this evening. The collection displayed was created by artists in kindergarten through 6th grade. Their work highlights various techniques utilizing a variety of mediums. Artists have created works using watercolor and wax resist, printmaking and collage, paper weaving, oil pastel, tempera paint, and paper nodens. Their hard work and creativity shine through in every project, and it's been inspiring to see the hard work you've put in. Keep up the amazing efforts. Yeah. Yeah. At this time, I'm going to have Reverend Don Keene from Green Cove Methodist Baptist Church lead us in our invocation and Pledge of Allegiance.
Please go with me to God in prayer. Heavenly Father, we are thankful and grateful for every day that you give us, for the ability to plan the future of who we are as your people. And as we sit and we talk and we plan, just let the Holy Spirit move. Please be with us and bring us your wisdom and your knowledge, and let us not live and work and serve off our own. And we are just grateful for this time together. Just please fill this room and let this conversation be what you want it to be in your will and your way and not our own. We ask all these things in your name. Amen. Please say the Pledge of Allegiance with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
At this time, I call to order the meeting for January 9th. Welcome, citizens of Clay County. I want to take this opportunity to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to attend tonight's school board meeting. This meeting is our opportunity as your elected representatives to collaborate openly and make decisions that will decide the future direction of our public schools and the education of our children here in Clay County. If you wish to address the board on an agenda item, there will be an opportunity to speak for 3 minutes. Please fill out a card located in the side entry door indicating the specific item number or topic you wish to speak about and turn it in promptly to one of our officers. If you have items that you would like to present to the school board or superintendent, please hand them to the officer who will distribute them accordingly. Speakers who wish to address specific agenda items will be heard following the recognition and awards portion of the meeting. Speakers wishing to address non-agenda items will be heard following board member comments. No additional cards will be, I think we changed that though. We're moving it back to our original spot. So it will be after the consent agenda, correct? No additional cards will be accepted once the board moves to the public comment section under the presentation from the audience. Your participation is welcomed and appreciated. First up, we have recognitions of academic team champions. Chloe Dupree, academic team coach.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen and board members. Treasurer Pickett. Everybody has my address on file, so we're good on that. But we're here tonight to recognize the junior high, the JV, and the varsity district academic champions. And we often talk about grade point average and celebrate grade point average up here with all our students, but I would be willing to bet that this group of people probably ranks right up at the top of their class and their GPA. These are students that are willing to participate and put themselves out there for academic matches that they have. We have a season. It's about a 6 to 7 week season. Mr. Pittman was nice enough to allow us to use the testing center for our matches this year, so we wanted to thank him for that. And we just appreciate your support, board, and Mr. Broski, for allowing the academic teams to participate, and then supporting. We'll have a group of all county members that will be going to the state tournament. So your support of that is greatly appreciated. I'd also like to start by thanking the students that are willing to participate. I normally bring questions, but it's a little different tonight, so we changed it up. But if you've ever been to an academic team match, it's tough. It puts you in your place as far as your wisdom and knowledge. I think most of the time I'm good for 1 or 2 answers. I mean, the questions that are asked of these students are so difficult, and it's amazing the answers that they have. So students, we want to thank you, first of all, for being willing to participate. Parents, we want to thank you. We know that that's extra practices after school. Many times you're the one driving them to the matches, so we want to thank you for your support. Principals, we want to thank you for your support. And then again, just the board and Mr. Broski. So when we tragically lost Mr. Martin a few weeks before the season ended, someone named Chloe reached out to me and said, I would like to take over for Mr. Martin. And I didn't know Chloe, although she was a student when I was the principal at Oakleaf High School. I didn't recognize her. And so I was talking to her, and I said, Chloe, I said, tell me, why do you want to take over this position for Mr. Martin? And she told me such a beautiful story that I asked her if she would share that story tonight. And she's going to try to. She said she's practiced it over and over and over, and just tonight is gotten a little difficult. So, but by telling this story, we just want to show what a legacy that Mr. Martin had left, and his impact that he has had on the academic teams, and his leadership for the past few years, and his passion. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to our new district academic coach, Chloe Dupree. So if you'll just cross your fingers and say a little prayer for her.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. If you can't tell, I'm a crier. My name is Chloe Dupree, and I'm the Oakleaf High School and Clay County academic team coach. I was lucky enough to have Mr. Martin as both a teacher and academic team coach in high school, and he made it a priority for students to feel wanted and accepted and welcomed. And it's a philosophy I hope carries into my own coaching. It was actually, Mr. Martin who helped me figure out my passion for education and encouraged me to become a teacher and coach myself. And when I was a senior at Oakleaf, I had a hard time feeling like I deserved to be on the academic team. I definitely was not very heavy-handed on the buzzer by any means, but instead of letting me quit, Mr. Martin offered for me to coach the JV team and to scorekeep. And this experience is what really ignited my passion for teaching and helped me realize my potential as an educator. And so when I moved back to Clay County after graduating and I was hired for my position at Oakleaf, Mr. Martin was the first person I called to share the news. And immediately he invited me to celebratory trivia, where he asked me to help him coach the JV team and assist with district tasks. Mr. Martin had extremely high hopes for the county team this year, and I knew I needed to step up with the what would Greg do philosophy in mind. And although I know Mr. Martin can never, ever be replaced, I am so proud to be the successor of this academic team. I can only hope to impact my students the way Greg was able to impact students like myself. I'm forever grateful to the mentorship he offered, and I know his legacy will live on through the academic team program. Whew.
Good job.
Thank you. That took a lot.
Okay, so what we'll do is go ahead and start with junior high. So if you want to announce the junior high winners, and if the coach will come up, we'll allow the coach to hand out the certificates, okay?
We're actually going to swap it. So I'm going to hand out the certificates, and she's going to say the names just to make sure everything's correct. So this is Miss Paige Iacob from Orange Park Junior High, and she is here to announce her winners.
And they were the junior high winners for this season.
Yes, for the entire season. They won the entire season.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. Okay. Do you have the? Okay. First, I would like to announce our captain, James Comiskey. Our co-captain, Ezra Lind. Tyler Howard. Sadie Weisinger. Miguel Sanchez. Samuel Maristil, who couldn't be here today. Jordana Roquemore. Francesca Katindig. Declan DeMaio. Ivy Carroll. And last but not least, Blair DiCarlo.
Congratulations to Orange Park Junior High. We are so excited for them. We'll get one couple of pictures here. Yes, you can be in it, sure. You should be. All right, y'all squeeze in a little bit, students. She just has to center you, I think. All right, that's a good-looking team, Miss Auguste. All right, thank y'all.
All right, and now I'm going to go ahead and call up Mr. Brian Gardner from Fleming Island High School to announce his team. I just want to point out, this is JV and varsity winners. So this is pretty big stuff here.
All right, good evening. First for the JV team, I have Shayla Abbas. Come on down. Lincoln Bailey. Sophia Jiang. Evan Hanner. Olivia Jiang. Sophia Jha. Naomi Heiken. Shreya Metla. And this is the JV team. They represent Fleming Island High School this year. That's a good-looking group. All right, thank you very much. All right, and now for the academic team varsity winners. Number 1, Victor Aguilar. Come on down. They're not all here this evening. A lot of them have homework, but we've got a few that represent the team. David Rafalski. Nathan Alcudia. Kylie Bailey. Catherine McNeil, and Daniel Fracht.
All right, and then we have one more set of recognitions, but before we do that and before we end, I just want to say I'm so proud to work in a county where our homegrown are just willing to step up for people, and Chloe did that. And Chloe, I want to thank you for stepping up, and just makes me proud to be in Clay County. So what Chloe's going to do is another responsibility is to take these students to state. And it's a little difficult because she doesn't know them, even Mr. Martin, because this is a culmination of all students. So what they do is they come take a test, and those that are interested take the test, and those that score the highest on the test then are eligible to be on the all-county team, and that will go to state. So Chloe will be taking these students to state for a few days and spend the night down in Orlando. So we're going to have a lot of conversations about that trip and preparation, but she's going to go ahead and announce those students now while we're discussing the academic team. And again, Chloe, thank you.
Awesome. So when I say top of the top, this is what I mean, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and just go in an order. Nathan Alcudia. Kylie Bailey. Benjamin Banglerser. Dylan Collins. Tyler Collins. Ted Klopman. Catherine McNeil. David Rafalski. Kayvon Wilkerson. And then one that's near and dear to my heart, my Oakleaf kiddo, Matthew Summers. And Victor Aguilar.
Well, they're not quite in order, so don't. All right, thank you.
All right, next up, we have recognition of the 2024-2025 School-Related Employee of the Year and Teacher of the Year finalist with Ms. Brenda Trotman, Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources.
All right. Good evening, Superintendent Broski, Madam Chair, and board members. We're really celebrating the top of the tops tonight with our students and now with our Teacher of the Year and School-Related Employee of the Year. So a great way to start the school year, but I'm excited and we're going to celebrate them through a short video, but these are the top 10 finalists, so they are the top of the top. And these are teachers and school-related employees that are dedicated and support the students of Clay County in so many ways we can't even begin to say. Unless you were privileged to read their packets, which is, to those who read, thank you very much, you'll never understand how much these 10 employees and all of them that celebrate all the schools, it's so difficult to bring it down to 10, 5 out of each group, but these are the top, and their passion through the community, their classroom, how they pitch in and help in all different ways is something truly to celebrate. And 2 weeks from tonight at 6 o'clock at the Thrasher Horn, we find out who is number 1 out of both groups. So don't forget to come 2 Thursday nights at the Thrasher Horn at 6 o'clock. But let's celebrate these top 5 Teacher of the Year and top 5 School-Related Employee of the Year finalists.
up next we have high school graduation rates. Superintendent Mr. Broski.
Okay, I could tell you one thing about, school itself. The main purpose is, of course, for students to get all those skills they need in order to be successful in life. And as a high school principal, a couple times, got a couple of T-shirts in the closet, a whole closet full of T-shirts. But I would say this, one thing I always remember talking to students about, and some of you are gonna find this unbelievable. Sometimes the people that work at the school want them to graduate more than they want to graduate. So I can remember so many times saying to a young man or young woman, why is it that I want this more than you want it, and we're not going to let you give up, right? And as a result of that, we have some really great folks that have done amazing work this year. So when you look at it, you've heard me say this 1,000 times, after school, you only got 3 options in life. You're either going to enroll in some form of other schooling, you're going to get a job, you're going to get employed, or you're going to enlist, right? But graduation is the key. I always called it the Super Bowl of high school. I always referred to it that way. It's the Super Bowl, right? It's the whole purpose. A lot of times young people, though, some young people don't realize that that diploma is their ticket to bigger and better things. And sometimes they don't realize it, and the adults at the school have to take the mantle, even when the student and sometimes the parent don't want it as much as we want it. And so we have a great tradition in Clay County of doing just that. We measure how we do that each and every year. And our schools, our high schools, our 7 traditional high schools plus CVA have done fantastic. I think the state just released it today, like at 4 o'clock. I did a little bit of anticipatory data diving before this meeting to get us to the point where we can announce those. But I also wanted to point out just how difficult this is. So let me give you a couple of scenarios. This is a high school principal, in high school principal mode, right? Sometimes students show up, they don't all show up as 9th graders. So imagine somebody showing up as an 11th grader with 8 credits, right? It takes 24 to graduate, so start doing a little math in your head. And you as a principal, you're thinking, okay, now what? What are we gonna do here? So not everybody shows up in 9th grade, comes from a perfect situation at home, and does well in school. In fact, our overall graduation rate of 95% is extremely, extremely high, right? When you take a look at how this is done, the folks that aren't in the top in that, both if you have a special diploma, a GED, a certificate of completion, those are all non-counting in the formula. Florida has the toughest national graduation rate in the whole nation. The way that we calculate it is the toughest, most strict, right? So that makes it even more special. And just as a high school principal, and an old high school principal, I'm so appreciative of the work. I see the compassion that they have for people and wanting students to be successful. Nationally was 87%, Florida 87%, although they just released 89 today was the number that they put on their press release at 4 o'clock-ish, around there. 95% for all of our schools. Every school, every one of our schools either went up or has a high, a high graduation rate. Sometimes when you reach a certain ceiling, it's hard to go up more, right? If you're at 97%, it's kind of like, okay. So just imagine what happens, right? Do students come and students go, right? So what happens when a student, when the button is hit on Synergy and you're entered as a student, you count, right? And nobody knows that more than a high school principal. Day one, they're your student. So what if that student just decides to leave, or their parents just decide to leave? Well, you better track them down and figure it out, because if not, you're going to be held accountable for that student. So high school principals are held accountable for a lot of things that may be out of their control. when it comes to the issue of how this data is collected. So I'm trying to give the explanation as to why or how this is so impressive, right? And I felt as a former principal myself, I should kind of educate people as to how it actually works. So with that in mind, so proud of our high schools and the work that they do with our students. I'm going to read a little bit about each one. I got the high school principal here. If you come up, we're going to take one group photo. Fleming Island High School, 97% graduation rate. That's fantastic. Tommy Pittman, come on up. It's 97.05. We get even more precise. It's fantastic. Thank you, Tommy, for the work. Get them organized, Terry. Orange Park High School, Ivan Gunder, 91.2. That's an increase of a full percentage point from the year before. Let me tell you, nobody builds culture at a school more than Ivan Gunder. If you go there, there's a sense that you're a kid, you want to go to school. That's a blessing. Keystone Heights High School, I saw Miss Burke, 93%. That's an increase of 2.14 from the previous year. Clay High School, 93% graduation rate. That's up 1.45 from the year before. Thank you, Dr. Halter. Middleburg High School, 96.39, 96.4. That's up 3.14 from the previous year. Martin Aftuck, Middleburg High School. And back-to-back A schools at Middleburg High School. Never been done before. Ridgeview High School, 96% graduation rate, up 1.8. Ms. Murphy does a great job. A lot of different programs at Ridgeview High School, and you have to be good at all of them, and she is. So thank you so much, Becky. Near and dear to my heart, Oakleaf High School, Justin Fluent, 98% graduation rate, the highest graduation rate. Clay County. Okay, now we should have maybe invited Boyack to this, since he was the principal when that happened. 98, it's tough. You get 98%, it's tough to go anywhere from there, but fantastic job, Oakleaf High School. And CVA, Ms. Stolano, 97% of those students graduate. That's up 17% from the time before. Terry, if you get them all organized while I brag on them a little more, I just wanted to take the time to say what an amazing statistic that is. And these folks do a wonderful job, our high school principals. Being a high school principal, by the way, is like being a mayor of a small city. And not everybody's happy with the mayor, by the way. You know, when you get to be a high school principal. Remember all kinds of things, students driving to school, there's all kinds of things, athletics, it's all happening there. So fantastic leadership, we appreciate all of them.
Next up, we're going to do the school showcase at Thunderbolt Elementary with the principal, Amy Bathurst. I say that wrong every time, sorry.
No, it's okay. It's Bathurst. Good evening, Superintendent Broski, school board members, and guests. My name is Amy Bathurst, and I am the proud principal of Thunderbolt Elementary. I don't serve alone, and I'm so thankful to work with two amazing assistant principals, Tracy Finley and Carly Pacheco. Our admin team has a combined total of 63 years serving the school district, and Mrs. Pacheco is a proud Clay High graduate. If you didn't know, we got our name because the land around Thunderbolt Elementary was once a naval outer landing field established by NAS Jax around 1942. By the late 60s and early 70s, the abandoned airstrip was used for drag racing and named the Thunderbolt Raceway due to the large number of P-47 Thunderbolt warplanes that used the airfield. I find it very fitting that 25 years ago, this year, the Clay County District Schools named our school Thunderbolt in honor of that landing field, as who could have predicted we would eventually have 2 full-time military life counselors supporting scholars with active duty parents or guardians. In my 5-year tenure at Thunderbolt, we have had approximately 24 families leave for deployment and then return and re-enroll at Thunderbolt Elementary. Isn't that a very wonderful testament to the high expectations and strong instruction we constantly strive for at Thunderbolt Elementary? Our 106 teachers and support staff support 770 diverse scholars throughout the school year. Currently, we have 125 scholars with an active duty parent. We are an area school for scholars with intellectual disabilities, and 41% of our scholars receive free or reduced meals. 25% of our scholars have challenges that affect their learning, which can include additional services for reading, math, speech, occupational or physical therapies, vision or hearing services. 15% of our scholars are in a robust gifted program, and we also support 50 English language learners who speak a total of 17 languages. Some of these languages include Spanish, Portuguese, Albanian, Chinese, Japanese, Russian, and French. I didn't include all of the names because I didn't want to be disrespectful and mispronounce, because some of them I have never heard of before, but we're doing it. We have lots to celebrate at Thunderbolt Elementary. During the 22-23 school year, we knew we needed to do more, or we could do more to support our students, especially our students with learning disabilities. After much preparation and planning, which included our school-based leadership team, we created Soar Time because, of course, all jets soar. Every morning, 8:35 to 9:05, our 1st through 5th grade scholars get targeted instruction in their academic focus, in their academic subject, with a focus on reading. During Soar Time, children are either receiving small group targeted instruction in reading or math, or they receive on-grade level instruction, which rotates between reading, math, or science. Children who are above grade level receive instruction to enrich and extend their learning. Due to scheduling, our 6th graders receive Soar Time later in the academic day. Our teams utilize every piece of data to ensure progress is monitored, so as gaps are filled and benchmarks mastered, our SOAR groups change, right? Our scholars continue to receive targeted small group instruction throughout their academic day, but this 30-minute SOAR time is an additional opportunity to fill gaps or provide additional enrichment. This SOAR time has enriched our PLCs and quarterly data chats, as each grade level is invested in all of the children on that grade level. and not just the students in their classroom. It makes me smile when I hear children tell their parents or siblings or their friends, "That's my SOAR teacher. That's her or him. That's my SOAR teacher." They love it. They love switching the classes and getting that extra enrichment. We also have much to celebrate in our primary grades too. You can see how hard our kindergarten, first, and second grade scholars work. Check out that math proficiency from first grade at the end of last year. It made me think when Miss Pickett? When Miss Pickett was speaking about, and Mr. Broski was speaking about those rates and having to do even better, when you've got first grade math proficiency at 99%, teachers are doing the right work, the good work, and we're very proud. So if you're wondering, our kindergarten scholars receive everything they need in their classrooms. We firmly believe that our kindergartners do better with fewer transitions. We were thrilled to celebrate with everyone at the beginning of this school year the most overall growth in the history of Thunderbolt in 25 years. So we have worked hard to continue and improve upon our SOAR time this school year. Also, we were very proud to be recognized as a School of Excellence during this past November school board meeting. We have lots and lots of activities that children can participate in at Thunderbolt. Of course, we have a robust run-walk program, chorus. You heard the chorus earlier. They were phenomenal. We have math team, track team. We have patrols, girls on the run. Battle of the Books is getting going right now as I speak. We have robotics. Our art club teacher that was featured earlier does art club, 6-week art club lessons on her own time all throughout the school year. We have chess club, we have garden club, and new this year is JETS Leadership Academy at 6th grade only. So a member of our school-based leadership team came up with the idea to create a leadership academy for our 6th grade scholars. The goal of the academy is to mentor our students through team-building activities, how to be a positive role model, conflict resolution, and perseverance. Our long-term goal is that these scholars will take active roles in junior high and senior high school honor societies, participate in all the many different clubs and activities, and continue to work on their leadership skills. We felt like they needed more support and to learn the tools. So we thought that was a great idea, and our SBLT unanimously approved it. So we're very excited to see how those kids soar. We have an amazing Thunderbolt PFA. They're very supportive. They work extremely hard throughout the year. Actually, they work all year. They meet with the admin team in the summer. They map out all the activities that they have planned. They plan them ahead of time. And they work hard to fundraise and support our school with all of the extras. Our PFA is led by 12 board members with very active input from all of the PFA members, teacher liaisons, teachers, and of course the administrative team. So those are just some of the activities, well, it's a lot of activities that they support and sponsor throughout the school year. And that picture is of our president and our co-chairs, vice pres. These are our local business sponsors that we're very proud to work with. Of course, our PFA did all this work. We know we're better because of this community involvement. Every year, our PFA cultivates partnerships with families, teachers, support staff, and these local businesses. Our PFA also trains and organizes all of our volunteers, both adults and teens. Especially for the teens, this provides our junior high and high school scholars the opportunity to serve others, and we also have many former scholars coming back to help, as well as our invaluable volunteer hours, which will be used for bright futures and other scholarship opportunities. We have a lot of community involvement. We do a lot with the community at Thunderbolt. We love the Jump Rope for Heart. We do that every single year. I work with the American Heart Association. Our PE teachers and our scholars do an amazing job with that. We raise a lot of money for the American Heart Association. We do a Goodwill school-wide donation day that it's the children's responsibility to bring in their items. You know, that's what we request with the parents, to have the children go through their things, their Gently Loved things, and donate them. We also have the Green Cove Juniors Chorus and Symphonic Band come and perform, which is a lot of fun. We recognize on stage our former students. Fleming Island High School, every year, the band comes over and they lead us on a march through our school and campus for our character book parade and idiom parade. And then after we get all the kids in the back of the campus, they perform a special performance for our 6th grade scholars to try and boost their program in later years. The kids love it. We also have Fleming Island High School role model athletes read to scholars, and they also come over a few mornings throughout the year and welcome scholars to school. The kids love the big kids. You know, I remember that. Love seeing those big kids. We also have our PFA sponsors, along with our business partners, a free trivia night for families. It's a lot of fun. We do a lot of activities with the Jacksonville Striders. Anybody listening tonight, please go to Saturday. There is a fun run at the Best Bet, 9:30. Say you're from Thunderbolt. We'll get a little money for that. We also had some of the TB chorus members perform at the Celtic Christmas show. That was awesome. Breakfast with Santa every year. You can come and get a free picture with Santa, and if you want to eat, you can pay a little extra. It's a very small amount, but our cafeteria and school is packed with families coming up for that, and it's a lot of fun. One thing that's near and dear to my heart is the annual giving tree for TBE families in need. You know, a lot of our faculty and staff and parents help out with that, and then if we need to post something on social media, people come in off the street and ask what can they do to help with the families in need. So that's a wonderful thing every year. I got to deliver some of the presents this year with Ms. Pacheco. That was a lot of fun. We also do an annual food drive for families in need. We do a dad's, of course, this was earlier in the year, take your child to school. We had a lot of parents come for that. Mom's Muffin Breakfast is coming up. We also had grandparents take your child to school earlier in the year. We do a volunteer recognition luncheon. And then in the future, I can't remember what month it is though, please pardon, the elementary art show will be at the Thrasher Horn, and Miss McQueen tries to get as many children's art posted as possible. We also have a paint night. That is something our PFA also sponsors, and all the funds from that go towards our art program for all those extras. They also help out with 6th grade promotion activities, and then the biggest, most fun for the kids especially is the senior walk. Fleming Island High School seniors come over. If some of our students, former students, have gone to other high schools, they come over as well, and they're in their cap and gowns, all dressed up, and they march through the school. All the children are cheering them on, and we love it. It's very exciting. I know they look forward to, can't wait till they get to high school and they can do it too. So our academic goals for the 24-25 school year are to increase our overall reading proficiency to 80%, our lower quartile reading proficiency to 65%, increase our 3rd grade reading proficiency to 83%, the 5th grade science proficiency to 78%, and to maintain and increase all those amazing math proficiencies. As I mentioned earlier, we have continued our morning SOAR time and are always working to improve targeted, intentional teaching strategies. This takes place through weekly PLCs, data chats, team meetings, ongoing professional development, support from our district academic coaches, and our ESE site specialist. Our district coaches and our ESE site specialists are incredibly helpful, not only for our new and newer out-of-field teachers, but also our experienced teachers, as every day can and will bring new challenges. When it comes to meeting the needs of all of our scholars, We value a team approach. Thank you all so much for allowing me to showcase the wonderful learning taking place at Thunderbolt Elementary. TBE is a great place to be. Thank you so much. And Ms. Finley and Ms. Pacheco, we're celebrating our 25th anniversary, so we have lapel pins to share with you. Thank you so much.
Thunderbolt has a lot of history. I was little shocked when I got to go visit and sit down to hear all about it. You hear things as you're growing up and living in the community, but to know the extent of it, there's a lot of history there, and that's pretty cool. And you guys do a great job out there. Next, our last call for comment cards. If there's any more, this is the last call. Seeing none for the consent agenda, we are going to move on to the consent agenda. There's no special action for human resources, so with that, we'll go to the adoption. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Got a motion from Ms. Gilhausen. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
I got a second from Ms. Clark. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Vote carries 5-0. And now we will take comments from the audience. Ms. Torres, you are up. Please remember to state your name and address. And Mr. Friedman, you're on deck.
My name is Sheila Torres. My address is on file. Once again, I'm going to talk about accountability. One of the things that I have noticed in the past couple of months or whatever, certain books in the particular library, if we ourselves are worried about our kids when it comes to opioid, drug use, mental health, some of these books literally need to be removed from the school because they glorify self-harming, they glorify usage of opioids, and this is stuff that me as a mom, I'm extremely, how can I say, I'm extremely worried about, because if my kids take out certain books out the library and they glorifying this certain type of behavior, how is my kid gonna understand how harmful it is? Because what start happening is that when we got kids talking about, oh yeah, this book talk about self-harming, let's create a book, and they create a group and they start self-harming. Well, how many times did you cut yourself? How many times did you do this? To the point being that a kid could end up in a hospital. So I need you guys to look into these books, not just dismiss it because, it's some person just saying, oh, self-harming or drugs is not a big deal, whether you have a kid in school or not. It is a big deal because these kids are our future. I left New York because guess what? They have drugs all over the place. The school is glorifying certain types of behavior by allowing these particular books inside the school. The education system went to the crap hole. Not to say nothing funny or whatever, but it's not where it's supposed to be at. Our kids don't know how to read, they don't know how to write, whatever the case might be. They are selling drugs, they are committing crime because some of these books that they have access to. And this, to me, is very dangerous. And my whole thing is that who in the school is allowing these books to be ordered, and that person itself should be accountable, as well as the overseers. Now, not for nothing, as a superintendent, I know that you have a lot of stuff going on or whatever the case might be, but at the end of the day, these books have to be screened before they are allowed to be purchased and put into our schools. One thing is that these kids have access to certain books outside of it. Another thing is for these kids to have access to these books within the school. The school should think twice before just allowing just anybody to make a list order these books and have them in these schools because kindergarten is very impressionable. Junior high school, middle school, all these kids are very impressionable. That's why, by psychologist standards, their minds are not developed to the age of 25. So therefore, we are the parents, and I am requesting for you guys to look into these books and start removing them from the school system.
Thank you, Ms. Torres. Mr. Friedman?
Welcome back. Happy New Year. Bruce Friedman, address on file. Last 2 months, I've read 125 of some of those dreadful books that Sheila was referencing. You've received all of those challenges except for one. I'll have that to you by the end of the week with another name on top because that's the way you like things. I'm delivering one challenge as per your policy and procedure. This author, Meg Cabot, got on my radar. Okay, like I did with Stephen King, I found every book in your district, our district, by Meg Cabot, and there are many. This one is in Clay Hill Elementary School. I'm going to skip the bad words, just deal with the ones that concern me as far as elementary schools. This book contains the words pot, Ritalin, ecstasy, cocaine, junkie, weed, dealers, drugs, narc, got high pills, Valium, kill, sucks, Jesus used in vain 4 times, screwed, kiss, crush, friends with benefits, and open relationship. There's a couple of references to suicide and similar ideations in there, and somehow, squeezed in the middle of all of that chaos, is the phrase laissez-faire. In no way is that offensive to me. But anybody reviewing this book would see that it doesn't belong in an elementary school for 100 reasons. But there it is. And I found it because you're not looking. I've referenced the fact that you need to revisit your guideline, your rubric, your policy, your procedure. I understand Neola is part of that. That's software to aid you in revising such things. So we've been waiting for Neola, like waiting for Godot. I'm done waiting. I'm cleaning up the mess that you won't attend to because you won't attend to it. Yes, it's going to be difficult, embarrassing, maybe accused of grandstanding or spreading misinformation. I'll take my chances. Your libraries are polluted. You've done not enough in the last 2.5 years to fix the problem. Your libraries are still polluted. It's time to step up. There's 190,000 books that I won't live long enough to read in your libraries. You shouldn't be ordering any more under any circumstances until the old mess is cleaned up. That's on you. I'm dropping off my one challenge. Please get that book out of the elementary schools for starters. Have a beautiful night.
Next up, we have Ms. Kidwell with a CCEA update.
Good evening. Vicki Kidwell, CCEA President. Happy New Year. This is a time when many of us make those New Year's resolutions. I did myself, like I do every year. It's a chance to reflect on our choices, the direction of our lives, our health, and our future. Knowing that there is always room for growth, many of us will make changes to bring us closer to our goals for self, career, family, and our community. Recently, CCEA conducted a climate survey of Clay educators. These suggestions are shared in the spirit of growth. We all know that Clay County District School is a top 10 rated school district, and there is much that we are doing well. But in all things, there is room for improvement, and the first step in that journey is recognizing where growth is needed. The CCEA Job Climate Survey invited all instructional personnel to respond to 2 questions. 1, what are the 2 most pressing issues impacting your job satisfaction? And 2, how can we work together to improve the future of our profession in Clay County? Survey results showed 4 common areas that teachers felt impacted their job satisfaction the most. Tonight, I'm sharing the top 2 stressors for job satisfaction expressed by educators in our survey. It might not be a surprise that those top 2 were inadequate salary and excessive workload. While the stressor most often cited was low salary, workload was a very close second. Many connected both factors as major contributors to job dissatisfaction. A wise administrator once said to me during my 25 years in the classroom, "I try not to add any more to any teacher's burden without first seeing what I can remove." However, respondents reported feeling overwhelmed by paperwork, additional responsibilities, MTSS, added non-teaching tasks, and shrinking planning and prep time. Educators shared that they needed to put in added unpaid hours of overtime to keep up with ever-expanding demands. They felt great stress at never finding enough time to catch up. Stress over their increasing workload was often related to dissatisfaction with their salary. They felt that such demanding professional responsibilities should be better compensated. When expressing their concerns about salary, educators mentioned inflation, cost of living, salary compression, and beginning teacher salaries that rivaled those of 20-year veterans. They lamented the need for second jobs and the additional toll that took on their family time. Many shared the difficulty of being single and trying to live on a salary that has not kept up with inflation. Some worried, and expressed so in the survey, that they might have to leave the profession that they loved. Some encouraged the union to go to impasse rather than settle without making significant gains in veteran teacher pay. But many believed that teacher retention and satisfaction would improve greatly with regularly scheduled salary increases they could look forward to, ones that would reward career educators. I hope that you will spend time reflecting on this educator feedback and make a plan to take action. Improvement is never an easy thing, but it must begin with honest reflection. Yes, Clay County District Schools is a top 10 rated school district in Florida, but there is room for improvement, and the first step in that journey is recognizing where change is needed. Your educators have given you honest feedback. Thank you for taking the time to listen with an open heart and an open mind. And I made you those little word clouds so that you could see some of the many words they used. Thank you.
Sespa here for an update? Nope. All right. Superintendent Broski?
I'm excited to give this update. It's only 57 slides. No, it's very short. First of all, Happy New Year to everybody, and I hope everybody's off to a great start. We've got several items. Going to talk a little bit about Schools of the Month, Students of the Month, prepaid Florida scholarships that we're actually giving out to as a district. The new district websites, something exciting there. Brand new, coming out in a couple weeks. 25, 26, believe it or not, we already start the planning process for that. Like now, we start controlled open enrollment plus additional events. So Schools of the Month, this month for January is Readers or Leaders. Okay, the deadline is January 22nd. Thank you to Community First for being a good community partner and sponsoring that event. Students of the Month, let me tell you, this is my favorite part of what I do. This is Hazel. Hazel, outstanding student at SBJ. Fantastic. You should see him. I tell them that I'm going to drive by their house and make sure that sign is out. Now, I've never actually done that, but they don't know. So I tell them, hey, I'm going to stop by your house and make sure you put the sign out proudly. And they just kind of laugh. Landon from Lake Asbury Jr., what a bright light, wouldn't you say, Miss Wan? I mean, just he came up to me and basically said, "Hey, if you need any help, Mr. Bross, you just let me know." and I was like, and kind of gave me a hug, which is unusual when you get to junior high age, by the way, and that's not cool. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then Nathan, also fantastic student. So great seeing great students out there. Florida prepaid. We give out 2 Florida prepaid scholarships totaling $8,000. It's an essay contest. All you got to do is go to the website by February 14th. Somebody has to win it, folks out there. It's free. It's free money if you can write an essay for that. Let me also kind of put a plug in for Florida Prepaid. 2 children, and both of them we had Florida Prepaid for that. My reason for doing that, of course, I was a teacher in the classroom. I started at 18.3 was my salary to start. 18.3. It was a lot of spaghetti and a lot of beanie weenies in the Broski house. Starting off with the family. And I looked at it this way. I was trying to inflation-proof my child's potential education when they graduated from high school. And so how many people think a college education is going to go down, like it's going to cost less in the future? Right? It's not. It's going to go up. So this would be the opportunity to pay at the current rate rather than what it's going to cost when your child does graduate from school. So in my opinion, was well worth it. Did it for both of my children. That's my advertisement for tonight. New district school websites. You're going to notice a new website. The launch date is January 27th, working behind the scenes. Some of the things you'll notice, the URL is the same, so you get there the same way. So there's no change for how to get there or whatnot. As part of the conversion over to Aptigee, I applaud the board for recognizing that refreshing our website was a good idea, and you'll see some of the social media posts and how they translate there. So this is a more streamlined way to communicate with parents in the community. It's a great tool in order to ensure. I think one of the things that we heard both from parents and teachers were way too many forms of communication. There's sometimes teachers want their own individual thing, and then as a parent, you're trying to deal with 4 or 5 different things going on, right? So it's streamlining it for the parent. And guess what? The teachers said the same darn thing. They said, hey, they want us to communicate in so many different ways. Can we kind of streamline the process? So we're excited about this project. The website portion of it's January 27th. Future portions of that, like direct communication, all that, training occurs later on over the summertime with a launch for next year. So it's kind of a phased-in approach to make that happen. So I applaud the board for that purchase. Again, 1 foot in 24-25, 24-25, another foot in 25-26. What do we mean? For parents, that we start the enrollment plans for upcoming programs for high schools, for example. Keep your eyes on those dates on your school's website as to when those nighttime meetings are in order to help your child with decision with scheduling for next year, because we start that whole process right now. School Choice Week is January 25th through February 1st. I'm so proud of the choices that people have within Clay County District Schools. You can see all of the career programs like aerospace, criminal justice. There's a whole list of them. I think I put the chart. You can't really see the chart as well as you probably should, but you could see up there 30 different programs that we have. 11,000 students participate in CTE programs. Over 2,000 nationally recognized industry certifications have occurred in our schools. So fantastic. Now's the time, parents, where we're starting to plan for next year. What classes are you taking next year? All of those things are starting right now. So at the junior high, for our accelerated options, there's Cambridge Pre-ACE and STEAM. And then at the high schools, you have ACE, IB, dual enrollment, AP, and early college programs. So we've expanded those programs to provide more access, particularly the ACE program is now at all of our high schools. So great work has kind of happened behind the scenes when it comes to accelerated options, as well as the great work that they do within CTE for those students that maybe don't see themselves on a college track. So again, accelerated programs for rising 7th graders and 9th graders. So deadlines there, check, because the meetings occur at each school differently, I would simply check your website to ensure that you have that. Usually acceptance letters for those programs go out in March just to kind of get everybody the heads up and start to think for next year. Controlled open enrollment, that we do that each year, every 12 weeks, that's done. Here are current schools that have open school seats. And some ones that weren't traditionally on the list previously are up there. You could see Patterson, Montclair, Fleming Island High School, Thunderbolt, Fleming Island Elementary, and Lakeside Junior High. We'll update it again February 24th as people are making their choices and their options. Usually June 3rd is the deadline for when we're accepting those for the next school year, once we get to the end of this school year. Upcoming events, so many things. You heard about the Apple Awards on the 23rd, all-county band concert, I never missed that, January 30th. Secondary chorus concerts the 27th. Celebrate Literacy Week. I know you all received an invitation. I know Wilkinson Elementary School, they like to nab everybody early. She really, promotes it and goes aggressively early on everybody. So I know you all received that email. Clay County Theater Showcase, which is on the 31st. All County Elementary Chorus. School Choice Week again at that time. So just another couple quick comments when it comes to, I saw some things related to school calendars. And what happens is when a school calendar is approved by the board and then is revised, it goes onto the website, the revised and current calendar does, but it doesn't enable us to take it off the internet, right? So I don't know if any of you have ever done this, but I've actually read articles in news feeds, and as I'm reading it, I'm thinking to myself, this just doesn't seem current. And then you look, and the article was like from 2 years ago, and you're like, oh, like why did this pop up in my news feed 2 years later, right? So that happens with information from the district too. So the best source of information is the website, which would have the most current version approved by the board of calendars. Just one comment about library books. One of the things that I applaud the board and the way that situation was handled is it put the responsibility or the acceptance on parents. Parents get to choose what books they want, and they have access to the books that they want them to, and so that's kind of been the theme behind the policy that you wisely put in place was, hey, obviously anything that's a violation of the law we get rid of. Anything that's not, well, parents should make the decision as to what they want their child to read or not. So thank you so much. I appreciate everybody. Hope everybody has a great 2025.
Thank you, Mr. Broski. School board attorney remarks. All right, school board member remarks. Start with Ms. Gilhausen today. Sorry, I put you on the spot.
I'll be short and sweet. I attended my first meeting for the Clay Education Foundation, actually just last night, and they've asked that I give a board report to them at their monthly meeting. So if you guys have anything that is of importance to you that you want to make sure I communicate to them, please let me know. And I just kind of kept it simple this last time and kind of just introduced our initiative as a board for this coming year is really to address our policies, and that we'll be working on all of them, and obviously invited any feedback that they might have on any of our policies as we're taking them up. So that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Gilhausen. Mr. Alvaro?
I just want to wish everybody Happy New Year.
Ms. Clark?
I'd like to go back to high school. All the amazing opportunities that we didn't have. It just, and to think in another 10 years where we're going to be and the opportunities. It's just amazing. And we've got students, obviously, that take very good advantage of those gifts, basically. So not much in life is free, but that's a blessing. Went to Bannerman graduation this week, I think it was, and we had 56 graduates. I think 24 walked and another 32, if my math is right, will be walking with their high school. So that's a pretty hefty number, and I think sometimes we need to address thoughts about certain schools and recognize that that is a wonderful school with a wonderful administration. And whenever we have a chance to share the truth about the hard work that they put in. And the students, many of them don't have the same opportunities that our other students have. So we need to recognize the hard work that they put in. And of course, the end of the month is going to be very full with lots of activities. So looking forward to that. I think the only thing else that I wanted, I know we're doing policies. I think HR is first, so we'll try not to be too rough, but don't count on it. So, last thing, I would like, this is something that's been on my heart for some time. I would like to see if the board would consider doing a proclamation regarding anti-Semitism. I think some of our students don't even understand what that means. And for those of us who witnessed what we saw on the national news last May, I think it's a good time to truly educate our children and see what we can do by coming up with a proclamation to at least acknowledge this. And I thought it was nice that our chorus this evening started out with one song in Hebrew. So that was very nice.
I don't know if you guys remember, there's a teacher, I want to say at Orange Park High School, that does a special education night on the Holocaust.
Yep.
And I wasn't sure what month, and maybe we could kind of coordinate that to be all at the same time.
Yep, perfect.
Yeah.
So that's all I had.
That's it.
Mr. Broski, you want to take a note for that? Okay, thank you.
Good evening, everybody. So this board, I was really proud of us. We had a bunch of very diverse personalities when Ms. Skipper and I came aboard, and we went through the master board training, and we did a really great job setting up our protocols, supporting each other, and figuring out where our commonalities were and what we wanted to do over those years. I recently learned, as of today, that because we have a new member, we're no longer certified. However, I would like to indulge the board in that if we do participate, there is a 7-hour reinstatement training. I'm hoping we do that, and it will help bring Mr. Alvaro up and give us an opportunity to go through our protocols with Mr. Alvaro and make sure that we're all still on that same sheet of music. I don't know, guys, how you feel about that. It's just one 7-hour training to get us reinstated. What do you think? Yeah, the board. It's a one 7-hour training. Miss Honora, her and I talked about it. She has the paperwork. It would require approval for the funding and then our signatures. So,
can I get board consensus before you move any further?
I think that's a great idea.
Mr. Alvaro?
I agree.
Ms. Clark? Great. Mr. Broski, do we want to look into that? Thank you.
and last but not least, I guess when Ms. Kidwell was talking, I was thinking about my daughter. It was her birthday today, and she was so excited because she had this great project she was doing, and the kids gave her, I mean, it was a blessing. It was like one of her most wonderful days was today at Middleburg High School. And it made me start thinking about, when we talk about this teacher pay, I don't know where everybody was when I worked for 10 years without a raise. I don't know. I don't know where we were. But I can tell you this, I have never, I went back through all of my files since I started working here 21 years ago, never seen a board more zeroed in on teacher pay than the board that I'm serving with at this time. When I left teaching, and it's not that long ago, I think 2 or 3 years ago, it was exactly 3 years ago November, how time flies, the top of the retirement pay was $50,500. That's what I retired at, $50,500. That was the best you could do. Because of this board over the last 2 years, and someone could correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we have raised that retirement back to $57,000 a year in 2 short years that this board has been zeroed in on money. This year, we also gave $2 million towards the health benefits during inflation to help our educators and our staff have an easier time of it. What disappoints me the most is that I need the right message to get to our educators. And that message is that we have produced more raises in a short 2-year period of time, I believe, I'm going to try to be Mr. Broski, than we have in the entire time as a district. That is the message we need. That is the message that we need to understand. They need to know that this board works for them every single day. There is not a moment that goes by that I don't know when I visit schools that teachers suffer. When it comes to being completely overwhelmed in your job, I was an English teacher. That won't get passed on me because it's absolutely true, but know that this board cares deeply about that, and we fight for these teachers every day, and I would appreciate that message is what we start to spread. The last 2 years of hope and the next 4 years of where we're heading, because this board actually has a plan to knock it out of the ballpark. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hanson. And I just want to kind of piggyback on what you just said about teacher pay. I too am very passionate about that, especially our veteran teachers. I grew up on hot dogs one night a week, spaghetti dinners another night a week. I grew up on, it was a privilege to get a steak. And if we did, I don't even know what kind of steak it was, if we're being honest. Okay.
Cubed.
It's very chewy.
Cubed.
Yeah, cubed, sloppy joes. So when I tell you, I may not be a teacher, but I have family members who are teachers, and I felt it growing up as a child, coming from a home from a blue-collar father who worked his butt off, and then a mom who was a teacher. So I say all of that, not to get personal, but to let you guys know that if anything, I know several board members have screamed for veteran teacher pay. I mean, and that is the without getting in trouble, without going any further, I can tell you we have advocated for veteran teacher pay. So I don't know what comes out of those meetings. I don't know what happens in those meetings after that, but we as this board have screamed that. But that being said, and I'm trying not to get on a soapbox tonight, but I sometimes get frustrated because the last 2 years this board has worked their butts off. I would say almost, well, I wouldn't give us that much credit, but I would say we matched the state in moving legislation. We matched the state in of things that we've done. And I'm going to tell you this. Someone said this evening that the Neola is a delay in policy or a delay in getting things done. I've talked to Mr. Broski about this, and he said in his 35 years, he has never seen a policy reform that has ever done, especially to this magnitude. Right. So we are looking at policies that have not been changed since the 80s. We're looking at policies that there's a lot going on in legislation in Tallahassee. I don't know if many people have paid attention to that, but education has been the focus for like the last 2 years, I believe, maybe 3 years now. And it is a blessing because I know for so many years people have yelled for educators to be heard. And now that they have, there's a lot to be done on a district level, legal level, and so we are updating policies. We are getting new policies to catch us up on legislation.
Yes, we got 700 pages in Times New Roman 8 font couriered to our homes.
Yes, and that's just the first section, or the second section, I would say, that we're on. So although it is a long, painful process to some, know that it is a process that is moving very quickly, I might add. But note too that it's going to be very efficient, but paid attention to. We are going to read everything, and I talked to Mr. Broski. We will get the changes versus or the changes that the district made versus the original policy that we will see side by side. Correct? Yes, he's going to try to have it to us this week so that we are prepared for our workshop because we are going through these. If not, I felt as a board member it would be a waste of everyone's time if we didn't have those differences. Because I know if we go and look at other districts, let's just say the visitor policy, they've conformed and changed it to what their district needs are. So, and each district is different. We're not all the same. Our needs are different. So I just wanted to add that. But your board has worked so hard, and I think my goals, we're talking about goals and what are these called? What do you do when the new year? Resolutions for the new year. As your board chair is to let you know what we're doing, to let you know our plans, to message that out. I think that that has been a downfall, and I'm not talking negatively. I just think that we've done so much and nobody knows. They don't get to see it all the time, and nobody's watching 2-hour meetings, right, every month. So I think I've come up with some ideas that I'll discuss at the workshop to maybe workshop some things out, especially when we're talking about messaging. I know that that was a topic that came up at the last workshop, but I want our staff to know what we're doing. I want our parents to know what we're doing. I want our kids to know what we're doing, because everything that we have done, and we've done a lot of work in the last 2 years, has been to benefit them. And I truly believe there might be some in this room that completely disagrees, but with parental involvement, with good policy, with positive changes, especially the changes over the last 2 years, you were going to see remarkable numbers with those who are working hard, like graduation rates, like improved reading scores, testing scores, overall performance. It all goes hand in hand, and there's articles and documentation to support all that, especially the parental involvement portion. So I want to thank the district for everything that they've done. I want to thank our parents for being patient with us. I want to thank our teachers, our administrators, all those who have to learn new things, have to implement policy that they don't necessarily want to implement, like dress code and cell phones. I know it's hard. I know it's frustrating, but that also goes hand in hand with studies that have been proven. So thank you all for all you've done. And I look forward to this new year and the positive changes that are to come. This meeting is adjourned.